Hey guys, it's Cubs and boy do I have one for you today. So the game's been out for 2 weeks now and a lot has changed. All of the quote-unquote leveling guides for release are pretty outdated, and all the more current up-to-date ones are talking about max level. But don't talk about early game. This is a major thing, as 1 to 50 is some of the slowest leveling and 50 to 60 really is. Now, you don't have the torment experience of 200%, more importantly you don't have the density, it's just not there. All this density they keep nerfing in Torment, well, we don't really have that issue from 1 to 50. So my team used this leveling method to hit level 100 in under 40 hours. And with testing we can definitely do better. We actually have a duo run we're about to start, which we aim to do 1 to 100 in under 40 hours on hardcore, and we will be streaming it. I want to warn people that when we start this is not a made for kids video. I do have a dark sense of humour, and if I offend you, you're welcome to tell me all about it in the comments. So we're going to split this video into two parts, the plan and the execution. I should make it very clear that I'm saying both of those in this video, I just mean I'm explaining one and then the other. You're not going to have to wait for a part 2. The shit that you need to know to actually get through this quickly is what we're going to go through first, because if you don't have all the information, you won't be efficient. Then we're going to go through the route, the best places to farm, and at what level. Now I've specifically chosen a non-bugged or exploited zone for this run. This means this can be used indefinitely. I have completed a sub 4-hour run solo as Sorcerer and duo as Sorcerer Next Pro with YouTuber Anicas. If you're a little less experienced with the game and mechanics, you can expect to do this in more like 5 hours, as I said in the title. So let's talk about the elephant in the room. There's always going to be bugged zones and exploitables that allow you to level quicker. Now, fun fact, for the later levels, yes, go look for the experience farms. I mean, I've released plenty of them myself. But for 1 to 50, most people seem to spend more time trying max level farms that don't work for Adventurer and then whinge about them in comments, rather than actually just leveling itself. So this guide is set up to be bug free, reliable, and just a pure guide. And yes, boosting is faster, but if you had a friend to boost you, you wouldn't be on the video. Now, a lot of the time goes into making guides like this, so if it does help you, subscribe. Realistically, it costs you nothing and it helps the channel tremendously, because without the algorithm, nobody will get to see the videos at all. So firstly, part 1, the plan. You're going to start at level 1. The major thing you're going to do is skip the campaign. The campaign is a huge experience per loss, and experience per hour loss. It's going to cost you time in the long run, and if this is your first character, then dude, stop trying to speedrun 1 to 50. Even if you do, you'll still need to do the campaign to unlock the late game, so sit back and just let it happen. Yes, we all sick of walking through the desert. Let the game punish you for dropping the soap anyways. At the lower levels, focus a lot into movement speed, and as your damage will already be significant enough. Until level 96, other than capstone bosses, you shouldn't have to kill anything harder than elites. Apart from maybe a butcher. Or 2. Or 3. Or if anybody saw the most recent stream, 5 and 12 minutes. Now, when you're choosing to level up from 1 to 50, the first issue people have, it's not from level 1 to 5. You're not dying at level 5. It's not from level 1 to 10. It's when shit starts getting tough. Mobs start hitting back. Meaning the first thing you need to do is pre-plan a build that can be used with just aspects from the Codex. Take away luck away from it. Now this is easier from some classes than others, I get that. I mean, Sorcerer can make a kick-ass Ice Shard build with just the Codex, but Druids, they have a harder job. So find a build you're happy to level and go from there. A good starting point is to check out maxroll.gg. They have a tier list and a leveling guide. Find one that you feel is suitable for you. The next part is, it's simple, but people don't think it through. Farm the aspects in advance. The amount of times I see people starting to level, and at level 12 they're running to get all the aspects, and they need to go get them to be able to make for the character. Take your main character, go and farm all the dungeons with the aspects, then when you unlock the Codex on your alt, you'll have them ready. And make sure you got some spare gold and materials to put it on your gear. A fully aspect character is 3 to 4 times more powerful than a non-aspected character. The earlier you do this, the better. That brings me to point number 4. How do you unlock aspects on a new character? Because the occultist doesn't passively unlock until level 25. Now if you complete a dungeon that you've not done before, you'll unlock the occultist much earlier. So let's take for example Dead Mans Dredge. It's in the southeast of Fractured Peaks. If you've not done it before, then even if you do it on level 1 character, you'll have access to the occultist at the moment you unlock the aspect, as you've never unlocked it before. Now if you're like me and you've completed every dungeon, then the game just screws us. We can't unlock the occultist to level 25, and like I said, this works for me too, so this guide still works. We're just a little bit slower from 17 to 25 when other people can enchant, but we even make sure we run a dungeon that we can still run without the good gear. Another very simple one is stats on gear. Realistically, stats on gear until level 50 mean absolutely nothing. Stop spending 25 minutes looking at items trying to make them better for the 2% gain you'll get. The only things that matters, the only things you should be looking for: get a weapon with high damage. If you drop a one with higher damage, I don't care if you're losing 3% close damage, put on the higher damage weapon. Now, if you drop an armor piece, I don't care that you're losing 2.1% lucky hit. It has an extra 60 armor, put it on. Armor is just damage reduction in its purest form. And you know what? Okay, if you get movement speed on amulet, you get movement speed on boots, keep them, they're good, I get it. And more importantly, if you get a +1 or +2 to your main ability, it's not going to go amiss, put it on your armor. But just don't waste time just staring at a screen for gear, which at level 22 is going to last you maybe 3 levels. Now, there is something in this game called item level caps. They're really important for sacred and ancestral items, knowing what item to upgrade, when to upgrade it to get the extra couple of 100 damage. But for level 1 to 50, you don't really need to worry about them. Other than weapons, I could do the entire video on item level caps, but pretty much all you need to know is if the weapon is item level 440 or higher, upgrade it till it's a minimum of 460. So again, that's the initial item level plus the item level it gets. This is a significant item bonus. I believe this is tier 4 increase, but until that increase, the ones at a low level honestly don't matter. It's less than like a 2 to 3% increase. The next thing to know is your class quest. No. To know your class quest. Google it. Speak to a friend who has done it. The one I'm going to use an example is Sorcerer. You have to go to Lost Archives, level 15, pick up an item, go to a cellar, set a fire. It's short, it's easy, but it's a huge damage increase by adding a 5-stack fireball that will one-shot packs from level 15 to level 40. Know what level yours is, know how to do it. It's important that you're efficient. On your main, you want to collect all your Altar of the Elves. Fun fact, just running around collecting all the altars will give you a chunk of stats, 5 Paragon points, but most importantly between the altars, the exploration, and the story dungeons, you will unlock rank 3 Renown on all zones. This means you can start your next character at level 1 with 10 skill points. This is a huge difference. It's massive. Now, finally, before we get into it, difficulty. Veteran is nothing more than a cock tease. Even with me at level 100, multiple rank 1 titles in Diablo, ridiculous amounts of speedruns so far in the last 2 weeks, I run Adventurer. The 20% experience just isn't worth it. But because we're running Adventurer, Elixirs are a pure 5% experience game, meaning you should have 100%. You should 100% have one active at all times. I would recommend crafting 6 of the cheapest Iron Barb ones the moment you create your character, and you should drop 2 to 4 more the rest of the way. If not, just teleport back and craft some up. They're cheap. Now for the second part. You've had the plan. Let's go through the execution. Once you've done everything I've said, you're set up. Not to level from a 1 to a level 50, but to level all characters from 1 to 50. You've also set up for future seasons because you've got your altars. You've also unlocked the map, so it means that's going to transfer the Fog of War over to the seasons. You've done a massive amount there that you didn't even realise. Now, it's something you should have already got while playing the game, but for the most part, it's really going to speed up your journey. Now for the run itself. I'm going to do this from the sorcerer point of view. If you play a different class, that's absolutely fine. Just replace the sorcerer parts with yours. Necro for necro parts. Druid for druid parts. You're going to start at level 1 at Kyovashad. You're going to put all your skill points in and run directly to Yeslena. Complete any events that you come across and try to push for level 3 to 4. If you don't hit 3 to 4, that's fine. Just try to. When you're at Yeslena, you're going to hug the bottom and just to go to the point just below Dead Mans Dredge. I'm going to point it out on the map. This is because it is out the way and it almost always has an event up. If it does, complete it. If it doesn't, skip it and go into Dead Mans Dredge. You're going to be between level 1 and level 5 right now. This dungeon is a very linear dungeon. It has one path that never changes. You enter, you go along a walkway, you go in a massive circle until you end back up where you started, and that's it. This dungeon is a collect anima dungeon. This means every anima mob counts as an elite, so it counts as 7.7 of the standard mobs. Why does this matter? Well, the dungeon's going to have 2 normal elites in as well. That's 9 elites with the 7 animas as well that you'll come across, giving you insane experience now at the early levels. You're not going to continue past the anima door, it's not worth it. So run in, run around the circle, and reset when you get back to where you started. As we're not on Nightmare Higher, we can't use the Nightmare Dungeon skip. We've got to use the Logout skip. This does slow us down slightly. You're going to reset by holding E if you're on keyboard. I don't know the keybind for controller, but you know, the emote scroll wheel. Hold that button and click Leave Dungeon. You're going to be teleported outside. You are now going to click Escape. Leave the game when you this will allow you to leave the game. A countdown timer will come onto the screen. Wait until it says 6 seconds remaining. At that point, you can safely click Leave Game. If you do it before then, there is a high chance you will be teleported back to town and have to run back to the dungeon. You can then immediately log back in, and when you enter the dungeon, it will have been reset. I'll in future call this resetting the dungeon, or just say the word reset rather than explain it every time. Now, you've been running the dungeon, you've just hit level 13. Congratulations. We're now going to change things up. We're going to head up to the Malnok Stronghold. This is just south of Bear Tribe Refuge. The mobs will be level 15, meaning you're going to get an experience increase, but they are slightly harder. The event makes you kill 3 elites and then kill a boss in the middle, and the boss in the middle takes significantly more damage from vulnerable enemies. So if you can do that, then it'll help tremendously. For example, Ice Shards on Sorcerer. Make sure you dodge out with attacks and you should be fine. When the Stronghold's completed, you're going to unlock 2 dungeons and some vendors, and what we're after here is the level 15 dungeon, Anicas Claim. Anicas Claim is similar to Dead Mans Dredge. You go in, you go around a circle, you kill the anima people. That's exactly the same, but it's worth about 12% more experience. And now, as that may not sound like much, it adds up as the levels go on. It's also nice to change dungeon when you're farming every now and then, so you don't want to cry in a corner like the victim of Jeffrey Epstein. Now, after your first Anicas Claim run, you should be hitting level 15. At this point, it's important we talk about class quests and the power creep they give. The example I'm going to give is Sorcerer. In Sorcerer, as I said, we go to a library, burn a book, something like that. My point behind it is at level 15, go do your class quest. If your class quest isn't at 15, guys, just do it when it's ready. Okay, you don't need to leave a comment that your Barbarian's class quest is level 30. Sorry, okay, like I said, this is the Sorcerer's point of view. 15, go and do your class quest if it's available. If not, continue on with the guide. It's also important that we talk about Codex of Power. As I said, to unlock this in an alt, you have to do a dungeon that you've not completed before to unlock an aspect. The aspect that you've unlocked, you can now utilise the occultist to enchant and imprint your gear. Consider her like a mini Chinese sweatshop who you, as usual, overpay. What happened in the days of paying rice? Anyways, this means at level 15, or after you've completed your class quest, it's important you do a dungeon that you have not done before to unlock the Codex. That would preferably be either Dead Mans Dredge or Anicas Claim to save yourself time, but if not, find one and do it. Dungeons can be found on the D4 interactive map. I'm not going to plug one in case they complain at me, but it's easy. Google search will find it. Just Google D4 interactive map and make sure to enchant and aspect your rares that you've got from the dungeon so far. This will make a huge difference. Now, it's going to take you 515,190 experience, roughly, to get from level 16 to level 25. Anicas Claim gives 37,000 to run. This means it will take you on average 14 runs. You should be aiming for 3 minutes a run, and obviously using the reset method in between, meaning you should be able to hit 25 in about an hour. It's actually only 42 minutes, but I'm giving you some extra time in case you're a bit slower. As I said earlier, Anicas Claim is just another Dead Mans Dredge but a bit more experience. One thing you need to do is open all chests. The reason you need to open all chests is they have a 50% chance to spawn an elite. There's 4 chests per run, meaning you should be able to average spawn about 2 additional elites, increasing your experience per hour significantly. But even if these give 0, Anicas Claim will still give 37k. Just a reminder, make sure you pop in your elixirs. So, you're about 2 hours in, and now we're on 45 if you have a good run. You're level 25. What do you do? You need 3.324 million experience to get from level 25 to 45. So, 37k and Anicas Claim is not going to cut it. The best bet we have right now is Hoarfrost Demise. Hoarfrost is going to again take about 3 minutes and will give you roughly 66,000 experience per run if you have a elixir run. This means you're going to need to clear it roughly 50 times. Yeah. So Hoarfrost is located just north of Bear Refuge. If you missed my extensive video on it yesterday, then a summary, you're going to enter, follow a linear path until you climb down some ladders, kill every enemy including the 3 skeleton constructs, but avoid killing the boss at the end. So it's just a 2-section boss. You've got to do the constructs, kill the boss. Skip the boss. He has a lot of health, he takes forever. So kill everything in the main room, reset. Takes about 3 minutes at 66,000 experience per run. At 50 runs for 3 minutes, that's right guys, 2.5 hours. 25 to 45 takes about 2.5 hours. Now if you're playing a faster build, that can do it in 2.5 minutes, even better. If you're doing it in a duo, it's doable in 2 minutes, even better again. But for single player, you should be looking at about 2.5 hours. So you should be finishing off, even on a bad run, about 4.5 hours to level 45. Now, you're now level 45, congratulations. Did you know the Nightmare experience takes this dungeon from 66,000 per run to 220,000 per run? This is what I'm saying. Nightmare isn't a 100% increase. It's much higher than that. Thanks to the other double elite spawns, this is further increased. So, because you're going to be at least 3 levels below the enemy, if you unlock Nightmare at level 45, your experience goes from 66,000 per run to 220,000 experience per run to 275,000 experience per run instead of the 66,000. We'll get there eventually. If you can unlock Nightmare at level 45, you can reduce the amount of runs you need from 45 to 50 from 40 runs to 10. Even if it takes 4 minutes to run instead of 3, that's a significant time save. So this is where you have a choice. You can continue to do Hoarfrost all the way to 50 on Adventurer and do 40 runs. Or if you're on softcore, you can be risky. You can go attempt the Cathedral Light at level 45, 46, 47. Here's the thing, if you don't clear it and wipe and die, as long as it doesn't take more than 20 minutes, you'll be fine. But if you die, and it takes an hour, then the time would have been quicker to just do Adventurer. Meaning, only time I would ever recommend you do the Cathedral is if you're confident with your own skill, or if your character is just overpowered with a 500 item level weapon and you're melting everything. It's down to you. It's your choice. Now, if you don't do Cathedral, and you want to stay an Adventurer and continue to Hoarfrost level 50, that's fine. But if you do complete it, then you want to swap to Nightmare difficulty and run, you guessed it, Hoarfrost Demise. You need 2,622 exactly to get from 45 to 50. That's only 700,000 less than 25 to 45. And at 4 minutes to run, it will only take you 40 minutes to do all 5 levels. That's how overpowered overpowered Nightmare is. Now, following this, you should comfortably be able to hit level 50 in under 5 hours. Even in a really bad run, you're looking at 5.5 hours. It's still better than most of your, 19, 20, 21 hours runs? Now, I know I've given a lot of other guides, guys, for 50 million experience an hour, 13 million experience an hour. Why am I not recommending these ones? Because you're on Adventurer. The density isn't there. The whole point of the ones I'm giving you on Torment is because you go there and there's packs of 4 elites, or there's packs of 3 elites and there's 2 packs in one point, so you've got 6 elites in one room. You get more experience in one room than you do in an entire instance on Adventurer. It's really important that you follow a guide that is realistic and not just trying to get views. So there you have it, guys. Congratulations. you can definitely do it in 5. But that's it, guys. I'll put a written copy in the description, and don't forget to subscribe. Peace.